Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well. Today we will learn about another topic of industries, that is fertilizer industry. That is again a large scale industry. Let's discuss about fertilizer industry in detail. The way we have studied the other industries like sugar industry and cotton textile industry, likewise we will be studying inshallah about fertilizer industry by using the our synopsis, which is there right in front of you. Let's discuss what is fertilizer industry and why is it important. As I have mentioned, that fertilizer industry, it is a secondary industry, right? Why it is a secondary industry? Because the manufacturing takes place by using raw material, right? Or I can say raw materials are being processed in this industry, right? So that is why it is considered as secondary industry, right? And the fertilizer industry, it has its importance to Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan, we know that it's an agro-based, it has agro-based economy, right? So for that, fertilizers are important to double the crop production, right? In addition to cow dung, compost, and other manures, the agricultural sector requires chemical fertilizers, right, to double the crop production, right? The consumption of chemical fertilizers has increased over the decades, and although the production of fertilizers has also risen, it is still short of the demand, right? And the large quantity has to be imported from the other countries, right? From Germany and all, right? Uh, the production of chemical fertilizers in Pakistan, it began in early 1950s. So in the beginning, only two factories were established. Fertilizers factories were established at Faisalabad, and the other one was at Daud Khail, right? We Then after that, later on, these two factories, those were established in Faisalabad and Daud Khail. They were established with the help of the cooperation of PIDC, that is Pakistan Industrial Development Corporation. Then after that, the discovery of natural gas proved to be the rich source of chemical fertilizer as an ingredient, right? If you remember, we have studied already earlier also that natural gas is the main raw material that is being used in fertilizer industry, right? Then after the discovery of natural gas, the number of fertilizers industries, they were opened up in Pakistan, different parts of Pakistan. And then urea plants have been established at various sites throughout the country. The largest producers being the Fauji Foundation, and there are several private organizations as well in this field. Urea and nitrogenous fertilizers account for the bulk of the total production because Pakistan's soils are highly deficient in organic matter, right? And in order to replenish nutrients, in order to prevent soil erosion, it is imperative to use chemical fertilizers, and definitely in order to double the crop production also, we do need chemical fertilizers uh, more, right? And then other importance are that is it is significant contribution to output, as I said, for to double the crop production. And then it provides employment opportunities, especially in rural areas. Okay, let's talk about the location. Okay, this map is given. Let me tell you the source of this map from where I have taken this. It is given on in Humana Sethi book, page 159, figure 9.15. I'm repeating. In Humana Sethi book, page 159, figure 9.15. As we can see, the distribution of fertilizer industries across Pakistan, right? If we will focus on the upper Sindh, here you can see there are only two um, um, fertilizer industries are there. One is in the Herki and the another one is in Sakhar. Then in lower Punjab, we can see it's Multan and Machi Goat, right? These two. And then upper Then if we talk about the upper Punjab, Faisalabad, that is the main fertilizer industry that is in Faisalabad, right? Then Jadawala, Shekhupura, Daud Khel, then in KPK, Haripur. Faisalabad, Daud Khel, and Haripur, these are the three main fertilizer sector or fertilizer that or what to say, the potential locations for fertilizer industries in Pakistan, right, beta? Okay. If the question is coming, describe the distribution pattern of fertilizer industries across Pakistan. That comes for 3 marks. So that we can see the distribution, it is unevenly distributed and it is there in upper and lower Indus plain. It is these number of fertilizer industries are located in upper Sindh and lower Punjab, right? And then, or you can say the Punjab, or you can mention the upper Indus plain, right? Then we have there is no fertilizer industry in Pakistan that is located in let's discuss the reasons behind it, reasons for this distribution that just now we have discussed. Okay. What are the factors? These are basically factors affecting on the location of fertilizer industry, right? First and foremost, why are these located in Upper Sindh, Lower Punjab, and Upper Punjab and KPK? Because if we talk about the Indus Plain, the flat land is available, right? The another factor is the proper infrastructure. As we know that these areas, Indus Plain and KPK, that is well connected through road network especially, and the Indus Plain is connected through railway network also, right? Then the other factor is locational factor. Why are they located in such and such places in Pakistan? Because it is near to nitrogen and mineral resource rocks, right? Then it is near to high population area to get cheap labor. Availability of cheap labor is there. That is why that is these fertilizer industries are located in these areas. Then nearness to the agriculture farms as more demand is there, right? Because for fertilizer the demand is definitely where the agriculture farmlands are there, right? Where the production of crops is going on, right? So that is the most fertile land of Pakistan, so there the fertilizers are also the use of fertilizer is also more. So these were the locational factor. These are the major players as I mentioned earlier: Fauji Foundation, Park China Fertilizer, agrochemicals, Lelpur chemicals and fertilizers, Dow Hercules, Parker Fertilizers, Park American Fertilizers. These all are the major players in fertilizer industry, right? And Park American Fertilizer is also there. Okay. And agrochemicals are also there. Okay. Let's discuss fertilizer industry as a system where first let's discuss the input, right? Uh, Input like machinery, these are the human inputs, power supply, labor, land, site, market, etc., etc. These all are the inputs, human inputs. And if we talk about the raw materials, sulfur, phosphate, gypsum, and natural gas, these are the raw materials. Those are being used in fertilizer industry. Let's move on. Let's talk about the process, right? The process which is involved in fertilizer industry, right? I have given you, I have made this in order, right? Let's discuss one by one. The process of making fertilizer, basically, this is called Haber-Bosch process, right? Let me discuss that. What is it? Haber-Bosch process is it's an artificial nitrogen fixation process and is the main industrial procedure for production of ammonia. The process converts in this process basically the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia is done by reaction with hydrogen using a metal catalyst under the high temperature and pressure, right? So it means atmospheric nitrogen is being converted into ammonia and hydrogen is it works as a catalyst, right, under the high temperature and pressure. So this entire process is called Haber-Bosch process, right? Now let's discuss the process one in order. First step is horizontal mixer, right? What happens? I'll show you the diagram also, right? So you'll understand more, right? What happens in horizontal mixture? mixing of solid chemical compound that is done, right? All the solid chemical compounds that we discussed as a raw material, right, those are being mixed up in horizontal mixer, right? I'll show you the picture also later on. Then after that, the second step is squeezing granulator, right? What happens in squeezing granulator? The granulating, it granulates the material, and by putting them into rotating drum to turn them into small pieces, right? It's just like a grinder, right? What happens? The all the chemical compounds, solid chemical compounds that you have mixed in the mixer, right? Those are getting ground in those squeezing granulator, right? Then they turn into small pieces, right? After that, the third process is screening, right? What happens in that screening? In that process, the big particles are being removed. Those are screened out, right, from the other mixer, right? Mixture, right? That those big particles, the big specimens of those granulator, those did not get uh, mm, mixed, or they don't turn into the small pieces. Those are being separated in screening process, right? Then after that, drying and cooling of particle, that is the fourth step that is being done, right? Drying and cooling off the all the mixture, all the particles, those are left out, the smaller particles, fine particles, I must say, right? Then the fifth one is, after when the drying and cooling of those particles that is done, right? The fifth stage, in this fifth stage, the addition of potassium chloride, ammonium nitrate, phosphate, and ammonium phosphate, these all chemicals are added uh, with those particles, right? Then after that, the mixing is again done. Then now the fertilizer is being ready. Those are being packed in silos and then transported to the consumer wherever it is needed, or to the market, I must say, right? That was the entire process of making fertilizer in fertilizer industry, right? Let's move on. Now you can see, this is the first one that I discussed, horizontal mixture. In that, all the organic compounds, sorry, all the organic compounds, they got mixed up, all solid chemicals, those are get mixed up in this, right? Then after that, that is squeezing granulator also, you can see, right? Then after that, when they get mixed up, the screening process is being done. In those screening process, the small particles goes, moves on, and the bigger particles they left behind. Then again, those bigger particles, they again goes back to the squeezing granulator to turn it more smaller into smaller particles, right? Then after screening, you can see here, now screening is done. After screening, you can see all the drying and cooling of particle is done. Then after that, all these chemicals like potassium chloride, ammonium nitrate, phosphate, and ammonium phosphate, they all are being added in those with those and mixed up with those particles, and then they are packed in silos in those bags, and then they get transported. I hope now the process of making fertilizer in fertilizer industry, it is clear to everyone. Let's move on. Okay. What are the outputs? The different types of fertilizers are being produced, like potassium fertilizer, phosphate fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer. And it why? Because it has the different uses, right? Like nitrogenous fertilizers, they provide protein, color, and growth. They help to for plant growth, to protect color of the plant, and it provides protein to the plant. Then phosphorus, it is used for root development and synthesis of energy. Then potassium, it is resistance, it provides resistance to different diseases, right? So due to that, our crop gets protected from all the pest attack and diseases, right? Byproduct, that is nitrosamines, that is a byproduct of fertilizer industry. Okay, let's discuss problems. Okay, environmental problems that we have already discussed in sugar industry also, those are the same, like leaching and eutrophication, right? That is also part of that fertilizer industry, right? Then water and air pollution is also there. Other than that, frequent load shedding, right, which hinders. Okay, these all problems are, some of these are faced by fertilizer industry, some of these are caused by fertilizer industry, so you have to rectify, right, beta? Okay. frequent load shedding, right? That is definitely that is the problem which is faced by fertilizer industry, right? Then lack of skilled labor, deforestation, right? That is caused by fertilizer industry in order to get minerals, right? Solid components for as a raw material like gypsum, sulfur, natural gas, right? In order to produce your fertilizers. Then um, it causes different diseases like respiratory disorder due to ammonia leaked into air, right? Like if you remember the few months back, there was a ammonia leak nearby the Clifton, right, area. So due to that, the different people they got so many respiratory disorders or diseases, right? So during that time, different that was the that ammonia leak was from I think ship and something else, but that not from the fertilizer industry, but that is not that is very harmful for human health. Then fertilizers are expensive to buy, right? That is again a problem. Pakistan is not self-sufficient, as I've already told you, so we have to import fertilizer, right, to fulfill the need, as we're agro-based country, so which is a burden on Pakistan's economy. And the next is, and definitely it requires capital to sustain in the market, right? Inconsistent government policies are also there. Definitely, those are also the problems. Those are faced by fertilizer industries. Okay. What is the solution? Solution is to use biofertilizer, right? Biofertilizer is a substance which contains living microorganism which increases the supply of primary nutrients, right? So due to that primary nutrients, what happens, the crop production gets enhanced, right? So that is the only solution that can be used. Other than chemical fertilizer, we have to go for biofertilizers. And as we know that we are developing country, right? So it's difficult to afford these biofertilizers. So we have to go right now. We go for chemical fertilizer. Definitely, those are having harmful effect on environment as well. Okay. That was it from my side. I hope you have understood that what is fertilizer industry, why is it important to us, where is it found, why is it found there, right? And what are the inputs, output, and processes? What are the byproducts? What are the problems faced by and caused by the particular industry? And why? How can we solve those problems, right? Now, inshallah, in the next blog, next time I'll come with the with another recording. Till that, make notes in your journal and understand this. Try to understand this slide. Any question you can ask, you are free to ask on campus. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz from my side.